Hi everyone, my name's Alexandrina Brant. I'm a writer based in York currently, and I know I don't YouTube very much, but I just wanted to, while we're stuck inside with this quarantine that we've got at the moment, thanks to good old coronavirus, I just wanted to share something that I'm currently working on for my writing. It's a steampunk story set in 1880 mostly it's actually set in America and Italy, but the part of it is set in London town and in Surrey County, which is where I was born. So it's close to my heart is this story, and a reader actually mentioned they'd like to hear more of me narrating it. So just for now, just while I'm stuck inside, even though I am still working full time, I thought I would share a bit with you. This is just part of chapter 5, throwing you in there. So I do hope you enjoy. The convenience of Surrey County, not least its proximity to the great London town, even now the Surrey Iron Railway had closed all of 40 years ago, meant that every village had but a short amble to the next. Through a mismatch of checkered buildings, some built à la the Gothic Revival and others thrown together in the 1860s, with bold white Portland stone, Broad Street disappeared. To the town's east lay parkland, of which London had none. Sweeping lawns belonging to 2 manor houses culminated in the lower lake, used exclusively for the production of grains from Grove House Mill. Carshalton, a self-contained entity. As they clattered through the thoroughfares, the carriage wobbled, empty of any passenger but herself. Every time its wheels smacked against loose cobblestones in the road, the movement kicked together her heels. Mechanized travel always pinched the back and calloused the ankles. Then the motion halted. She parted to the carriage curtains and very nearly swore. She had not worded even a single sentence of her request to the unlicensed captains, and the carriage was already pulling up by the printer's building. She'd have panicked but for the scrap of newspaper clutched in her reticule purse. Her fingers knotted through a minuscule hole in her satchel. Breathe. A knock came at the carriage door. "London town, writer's district, ma'am." Cathy shouldered her satchel, her reticule smacking against a hip. With a click as one, driver and passenger unlocked the door. "Sorry, thank you." She pressed the pound notes she'd already counted into his leather-slapped palm. A second tea-coloured 5 had attached itself to the lacing on her gloves, and she shook it into the pile too. "A little extra for your troubles. For the hour." "Thank you, miss." He touched his cap. Cathy shuffled away from the carriage before he noticed her roll of the eyes at the cost of a jaunt into England's capital. She ought to have shared a carriage for the sake of money, and she stepped into the writer's district. The Times building erupted out of the pavement ahead. Sitting back from the thoroughfare and its surrounding buildings by a courtyard the size of her stables, the building gained in height any grandeur it lacked in breadth. 2 towers emerged from the roof, bleeding trails of steam and oil-coloured smog across the skyline. She crossed the office's courtyard when it beckoned with a glistening fountain and iron railings. Deliberate writers over elaborateness, Cathy supposed. They piled the most extensive glamours into the smallest of enclosures. The inner forecourt of the Times building was much the same. Her kid boots scraped against the gold tiling that crisscrossed the floor. Gold stained the walls. She certainly felt wrapped in gold foil as she walked. For the hour, the trading floor was as silent as a music hall during the morning. She was the only customer to enter or exit, and the heavy weight of eyes upon her settled almost immediately.